WeCulture, one of the broker from WELCOME09 SMFT-UH. Let me introduce myself. My name is Muhammad Haikal Sutrisna, but you can call me Haikal, and I will be the moderator for today's WeCulture. So, welcome everyone to WeCulture. So, what is WeCulture? WeCulture is an event where we can talk and discuss with our speaker about the culture. So today, we have a special guest speaker from Philippines. Please welcome Ins. Hello Ins, how are you?
Hello. I'm good. I'm actually feeling nervous. This is my first time doing being a speaker in an international event, and since this quarantine, so I'm kind of nervous. I also would like to thank Sila for inviting me for this event, and it's really an opportunity and a privilege. Thank you so much, and I'm very happy that I'm also excited to share to you stuff about the Philippines.
Okay, thank you for joining with us, Ins. So I will read the curriculum vitae from Ins. So Ins, her full name is Insirah Billy. Nationality is Filipino. Place of birth, Bislik City, Surigao del Sur. Educational background, college, Mindanao State University in Marawi City, a sophomore year, Bachelor of Science in Psychology, and currently a lister. Senior High School, RC Al-Kawarizmi International College, Humanities and Social Science, and Waterloo East High School in America. Junior High School, Mindanao State University, Integrated Laboratory School, and elementary school is Manggagoi South Elementary School in Bislik City. Experience, volunteer at Al Islamic Nur Waterloo Cedar Falls in Iowa State, USA. Work immersion at RC at Akitspi Elementary Department. Supreme Student Council Deputy Prime Minister, Leadership Institute Leader, Facilitator or Volunteer, and many more. Honor, Award, and Membership. First consecutive honor roll from elementary up to senior high school. Recipient of Kennedy Lugar Youth Exchange and Study Program. Voluntary up to 100 hours of community service during my exchange study year in America. And then lister of Mindanao State University Main Campus College of Social Science and Humanities during the freshman year, and many more. That was really awesome CV you have, Ins.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so Ins, I do some research about Philippines, and I know that Mindanao is one of the largest island in Philippines. So maybe you can tell us a bit fun fact about about Mindanao before you presented your PowerPoint.
Okay, yes, definitely. Talking about my city here in the Mindanao.
Yeah.
Okay. So currently I'm BA Psychology as introduced earlier by Haikal. I'm sorry about that. And I was a BA Political Science major, but I shifted to BA Psychology because I have always been interested about mental health, and I really wanted to pursue a degree about mental health program because it has sparked interest to me as an advocate of mental health wellness. And about Marawi City is the Islamic city in the Philippines, and it's where Muslim people are very populous. And actually, there are other places in Mindanao who are also populated by Muslim people. And But Marawi City, where I live, it's the most populous um, city of Muslim people here in the country. And also, my university is one of the most prestigious university in the public university in the Philippines and here in Mindanao, because it has a lot of branches, and even elementary and high school. I have went to one of its high school branch, and I graduated there. So yeah, maybe that's all about my
Uh,
city.
wow, that's also awesome, Vince. Okay, everyone.
Thank you.
So I think this is the time for us to see the presentation from Ins. For Ins, time is yours.
Okay, so again, I'd like to greet everyone. Good evening. And again, thank you also for inviting me. So I'm going to talk about the Philippine culture, its norms and tradition here in the WeCulture program. So actually talking about the Philippine culture is such a broad topic. Philippines has a long history, and it has gone different influences from other countries, from the Western, from other Asian countries. So the Philippine culture is really broad, and it may cover how many days to tackle about the Philippine culture. However, in this presentation, I have summarized the most general and the basic and the most important stuffs about the Philippines, and also what the pointers that were given to me by the Way Culture. Next slide, please. Um, can you press the arrow icon? Thank you. Okay. So the Republic of the Philippines, here I attached photos, different photos that represent our country. These are few of the photos, but in here I have attached collage of our flag, our jeepney, our national symbols. As you can see here in the green picture, it has a woman who is wearing a national attire, which you call barot saya. That is the national attire in the Philippines. It's a cultural attire worn by officials sometimes in their inaugurations as public officials. And you can see the public transportation. That is the Philippines national mobility. That is what you call jeepney. And then the Philippine flag at the middle of this collage. And then here is also an eagle. It is the national bird in the Philippines. And then a fan, which you call pai pai, used in dancing, cultural dances. And gumamela, which is the national flower of the Philippines. And then down here, you can see a note, and that is the national anthem of the Philippines, which you call Lupang Hinirang. And then some other photos of Filipinos patronizing the Philippines, just like the students here. They are raising their hands. That means they are promising patriotism to the country. That is happened during the national flag ceremony in our schools during our back then when we were still elementary. And then some photos up here of our modern heroes. Just like here, you can see some workers, and they are also posted there with the background of the Philippines, because they are national heroes of the country, and these are also OFWs or overseas Filipino workers, and they work outside the country to provide living for their families here in the Philippines. And you know that in the Philippines there are a lot of OFWs because they prefer greener pasture and and to provide a better life for their families here in the country. Next slide, please. So that was a very long introduction. Next slide, please.
I think it's the second slide. Location, right?
Next slide, please. Oh, hello. Am I audible right now?
Yeah, you are audible, Hints. I think, really, can you next the PowerPoint?
What? I'm waiting to reach the next slide. I'm already pressed the next slide. I think it's about location, right? Location of Philippines.
Is that right, Ins? It's about location, or maybe next slide.
Hello. I think I'm lost. Oh, there you go.
Hello, Ins, can you hear me?
Yes, definitely.
I think you have
Hello.
the connection.
I think. Oh, I got it. Okay. There you go. Okay. Location. The country is located, as you can see here in the map. It is a Southeast Asian country, and it is located near Vietnam at the northwest, and then down there you can see Brunei, Malaysia, and Indonesia. So Philippines is basically located near Pacific Ocean. So it's one of the countries in Pacific Ring on Fire, which makes a lot of volcanoes here in the Philippines active, and that's why we experience earthquakes a lot more than other countries. And about the Philippines, it has 7,100 islands and islets, and however, it is broken down into three major islands or regions, and those are Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Those are the three largest regions or islands here in the Philippines, which have subparts, sub-cities, and sub-regions. The capital of the Philippines is Manila City. However, in this I have wrote the capital of the Philippines is Manila. However, the most populated here is Quezon City. Quezon City is also a city in Metro Manila. So Manila and Metro Manila are different cities, but are different terms because Metro Manila is where almost every cities in Manila is located. But Manila City is a different one because it is a city, and the Metro Manila is also different. So actually, this is one of the confusions to other foreigners because we think that when they say Manila, they're only referring to Manila City. However, Manila is actually is a very large region and has so many cities within it. Next slide, please. Okay, thank you. By the way, may I ask everyone, am I audible right now?
Yes, you are audible. Ins.
I'm getting anxious because of the internet connection.
It's okay. Just relax.
Ah, okay. It's so slow whenever it's night. Sorry about that. Okay, now going back to the discussion, the current president here in the country is President Rodrigo Roa Duterte. He is the 16th president, and he is on his last year of the term because Philippines is a democratic country and we have 6-year term for public officials and national. And he began his presidency on June 30, 2016, and next year we will elect new officials because the current administration will end their term next year on May 2022. And about our president, President Duterte was way back a mayor during his time in Davao City. If you're familiar, Davao City is one of the cleanest city in the world, and it's also said to be one of the safest city back when he was still a mayor there. And he was also a lawyer prosecutor during his time and during his um, time before he entered politics. And his presidential campaign when he was still running for the presidency seat is PDP Laban. Next slide, please. Next slide, please.
Yes, we are in Philippine flag.
Oh,
Philippine flag slide.
okay. Wait a second. I think my computer is lagging. I'm sorry.
Oh,
What
it's
is
okay.
happening to this computer? Okay, got it. Okay. Can you tap the arrow button so it will show the flag on it, please? Okay, but the Philippine flag, as you can see here, the flag has the colors red, blue, yellow, and white. Okay, good. So starting from the blue one, it's on top because the blue represents patriotism and nationalism and also justice for the Filipinos. And that is why it is on top because it is the priority of the country. And then below it is the red flag. It represents the bloodbath that were split during the fight of the Katipuneros against the Spaniards' colonialism because during the Spanish reign in the country, we were colonized and we were robbed but from our own freedom and independence, and that is why the Katipuneros or the Filipino soldiers were fighting against the Spaniards, and that red one represents the blood. And they said here in the country that once that flag is split, that means the red one is on top while the blue one is at the bottom. That means that there is a war in the country or there is going to be a war. Now going to the white triangle, this represents the Katipunan. The white triangle, it symbolizes peace and equality. because the peace and equality means it means for Filipino soldiers that can we go back to the last slide, the flag one? I think I
Hello, Ins, are you there?
I'm sorry, I lost again. The internet connection. This is so hard.
Okay, it's okay.
I'm trying to fix the internet connection. I'm really sorry. Okay, now where were we? We're in the right triangle, right? The white triangle. This represents the Katipunan or the KKK. If you know, back then in the history of the Philippines, the KKK is a nationalist organization. So they were like small groups of heroes who were fighting for the Philippines' independence and freedom, and they were called heroes, and until now they are recognized as heroes because they fought for equality and peace for the country, and they were also the reason why we had our independence. Next, the stars here, these represent the three major regions or the islands I have mentioned earlier in the flag. These are Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, and they are in the flag because they are the major islands, and they are also one of the they symbolize culture and the diversity here in the country. Okay, I think we're done with the flag. Next slide, please. Fun facts about the country. So the islands were dubbed the Philippines. It's called the Philippines after King Philip II of Spain, because going back again, the Philippines was colonized by Spain, largely by Spain. By actually, the Philippines was colonized by different reigning countries, but the Spain colonized the country for 300 years, and that is why it got its name Philippines after its king Philip II. And do you know that the rice terraces of the Philippines of Cordilleras are actually one of the World Heritage Site according to UNESCO. It will show the picture will show the next slide, and then the third fact about the Philippines is Puerto Princesa is in Palawan was the longest subterranean waterway in the world. If you have observed it, the Philippines in the map, it looks like it's actually surrounded by a lot of water, and there are places here in the country where you need to actually take boats because there is no other transportation other than taking boats, and that makes it one of the longest discontinuous coastline in the world, and its area is approximately 300,000 square kilometers that are spread over the 7,107 islands. So there are really a lot of islands here in the country. So if you plan to visit, you will have to take a lot of time touring the islands here in the country. Next fact about the Philippines, there are 125 to 170 languages spoken in the Philippines. There are major and minor tribes that makes it um, a lot of cultures. I belong to the Marino tribe, and we also speak different language. Our language is actually very similar to Indonesian language and Bahasa rather, Bahasa and Malaysian language. Like I once had a conversation with Sila, and there are words that we're very similar in the meaning. For example, mahal, which means expensive, right? And some other words that I may have encountered to be very connected to the language of Maranao tribe. So there are other minor tribes and major tribes, and every tribe speaks different language, and it's called dialect. That makes Philippines multilingual, or having a lot of languages in the country. And so in order for Filipinos from different tribes to understand each other, we speak Tagalog or English as one of our major languages here in the country. But in these modern times, Tagalog and English have already been collided, and so they call it sometimes the Konyo language, or a mixture of English and Filipino language. The last fun fact here in this slide is the old name of the Philippines is Maharlika. Maharlika came from Filipino language. It means in English it's noble, but because we were colonized, so our name, the country's name is Philippines, and Maharlika has been proposed by many Filipinos to be our official name, but it didn't get approved because it will take a lot of paperwork for us to change our name from Philippines to Maharlika, because it's quite a shock to the world if you're going to travel that you're going to see that I came from Maharlika country, but actually you came from the Philippines, so it would be a lot of adjustments. So we stick to the name of Philippines. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Or is it my PC is lagging?
Yes, we are in the next slide.
Okay, I'm really sorry.
It's okay.
It's really my PC. I'll just have to look at my copy. Okay, so I opened my own copy, so I will know when. Okay, now going on to the fun facts about the Philippines, a continuation. The archipelago experiences about 20 earthquakes per day. So as I have mentioned earlier, the Philippines is located in the Pacific Ring of Fire near Pacific Ocean, and that is the reason why we experience 20 earthquakes about a day. However, these are not major earthquakes. These are only minor earthquakes that experience near-side active volcanoes. Those places who live near an active volcano, they experience quite minor earthquakes a day. And do you know that the longest snake in the world actually lives in the Philippines? And that actually had me scared. And I was a bit scared when I've read this general fact about the Philippines, because I'm not very fan of snake, and I think I have a phobia about it. And the fact that the longest snake lives in the Philippines just makes me even more scared, because that means that there are a lot of small snakes that live in the country if the longest snake is found here in the Philippines. And then the third fun fact about here in the slide is the world's largest Christmas lantern was illuminated in San Fernando, Pampanga on December 24, 2002. Philippines is a Christian populated or it's a Christian dominated country. So Christmas is often celebrated extravagantly, and they like to design the streets, the city with big lights, with big lanterns, and that made Pampanga one of the city in the country to have the largest Christmas lantern in the world. And do you know that one of the three largest shopping malls are actually found in the country? And those are SM Mega Mall, SM North EDSA, and SM Mall of Asia. Celebrities or K-pop idols like BTS, Blackpink, they do their tours here in one of these shopping malls because these are so big that you can't even tour it in one day because you have to take a lot of days and take a lot of strength and energy to be able to explore the entire floors, the entire mall, and that makes it really big shopping mall. Right, next slide. We are now in the social life. Right, these are photos I have attached. Personally, my social life, well, I spend most of my time in the campus in the university. So back then, when when life was good, when there was no pandemic, we often go out with friends and spend time in the library. Sometimes we chit chat and we also study our lessons and prepare for reports because in our university we often do reports. Our university is not lecture based. It's based on students' performance. You have to discuss your report. You have to discuss it to your professor, and that's why we take most of our time every day as a student, as a college student in the library, and most often too we eat outside. We hang out with our high school friends, and I think this is a typical life for other teenagers in the country and for other teenagers too outside the Philippines. So these are my photos here. If you're seeing it in the screen, then next slide, we have here my other photos of a continuation of my social life. So I have attached 5 photos here, photos of my social life. We've got here my picture of our Eid al-Adha. So then we celebrate together with the family or cousins or friends, and just like other cultures, how they celebrate it. That's also the same way of how we celebrate it here in the country. And then some other photos of us spending our leisure time as college students because college life is really hard and difficult. And so it is a requirement for us to take a break sometime and spend leisure activities with our friends from other colleges. So that's the typical social life here in the country. And well, at least for me personally, that's my kind of social life. Sometimes we also travel and go outside the cities um, spend some time in in mountains, near mountains, because um, college is so city life, and so sometimes we need some fresh air and natural type of lifestyle to you know recuperate from our stresses from college classes. Right, next slide. Are we on the next slide? Please let me know if I'm on the right screen too. Life in a day for me. Are we in the
Yes.
same screen?
We are in the
Okay.
semester.
So
Okay.
life in the day for me is spending some time doing requirements, and well, for me now, because it's pandemic and it's more like an online class, online platform, which is very which is quite shocking for every of us, for every one of us, because I know if for you too, you're taking your online classes, right? And so for my life now, I spend time most often doing requirements, and at least once a week I go out with friends to have milk tea, and we have that too. I know that's very popular. I guess you really have that in your country too, and milk tea is really popular in the Philippines. If you visit the country, you'll have to see shops, different shops aligned in one street, and they are different milk tea shops because that's how popular milk tea drinks are in the country, and you know, with snacks too. So that only happens um, quite often because of the threat of the pandemic. We don't want to risk our health outside spending a lot of time. And then the next day, some random days, we go for a trip. As you can see here in the photo, I'm in a high mountain. It's hiking, so it's kind of tiring, but it's very worth it to spend some time doing that, especially that we're so stressed with college life. For me, basically, life in a day um, it's just a reflection of yourself every day. I spend most of my time. The most important thing for me in a day is in a life in a day is to reflect on myself, to reflect on what I've done, and to check on my mental health, and to list down some potential problems that I'm going to worry about later. So I've read across this post one time that it is about mental health. So if you're anxious, if you have anxiety or stresses, you take schedule of trying to write down those potential problems that you're very scared to happen in your life, and then propose solutions on how you're going to face this if it's going to happen in reality, and then if you're going to cry about it, then cry about it. So the next time that you are worrying about it, it's going to lessen your burden, it's going to lessen your stress and your anxiety. So that's one of the important things I associate with life in a day. Next slide, please. Okay, we got here the school system in the country. So the school system in the Philippines is composed of nursery. We have the kindergarten too, the elementary, and the college life. And if you're planning to take after grad school, you've got masters or doctorate, or if you want to take medicine or law, those are the stages of the education system here in the Philippines. And college is basically the most common, the ending or the end game of every student. And I think that's also common to you guys. And about the grading system here in the country, it differs from universities, colleges, and schools, because in our university at MSU or Mindanao State University, um, 5.00 is a failing grade, and if you get that, you have to retake the subject. However, in other universities, they imitate the US grading system. They have 4.00 as the highest grade, and then 1.00 as the lowest. Just like in the US, they have 4.00 as the highest. But in high school, they have 90 and to 100, that's the highest grade, and 75 is the lowest. And in some schools, they have A plus, or letter grade system where A plus is the highest and B minus is the lowest. So in our school, if you get 1.00, that's the perfect grade. That means you're graduating as summa cum laude, or it is a Latin honor. It's the highest Latin honor, or the valedictorian of your class. So that's a very tough competition here in our university. So getting 1.00 in one subject is cloud nine. It's highest happiness for us, highest level of happiness for college student. And yeah, so if you have other questions about our school system, you can ask me later on. Now, moving on to the Filipino cuisine or the signature foods in the Philippines. Do the cuisines here look familiar to you guys? Or the pictures of the cuisine? Because our cuisine or the Filipino cuisine is quite similar to other countries because of the spices and the way it's cooked. And our cuisine is also influenced by other countries or other cultures. But this photos here I attached in the PowerPoint is one of the signature photos or signature cuisine in the country. We have here lumpia and then pancit, adobo, and halo-halo and bibingka. So about lumpia, this is a wrapped meat or chicken or beef or anything. It could be pork too for non-Muslims. And then there's also a sweet lumpia, and it's wrapped sweet banana or sweet potato. It depends on how you wanted it cooked. And then next one here we have pancit. So pancit is also a signature food or bihon. And pancit is influenced from Chinese people because they say if you eat a lot of pancit, that means you'll get a longer life. Well, that's just a legend saying, but actually pancit is a really good food. And next we have here adobo. Adobo is the most popular food in the country, and it's most loved by Filipinos. It is served in every occasion. You can never miss adobo in a celebration. You have to have adobo because chicken adobo is the best cuisine in the country. Then we have here dessert like halo-halo, and then it's just a mixture of different fruits, fresh fruits, with an ice cream on top of it, and some specialties that we wanted to add. It's served cold and fresh. Next, we have here bibingka. Bibingka is it's like a bread. However, it's not a bread. It is cooked traditionally, and it is sweet and wrapped in a banana leaves. Okay. Next slide, we have here common stereotypes about the Philippines. Are we on the same page? Hello? Am I still in the meet?
Yeah. You're still in the meet.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
still in the meat and mahal.
You can see the PPT in front of you.
I have my own copy here. I'm opening it because my screen takes a while. Yes, the
delay.
internet connection. Okay, so we are now in the common stereotypes about the Philippines. Am I on the same page?
Yes. You are in the same page.
Okay, thank you. Some common stereotypes,
Can
top
you-
stereotypes.
Can you minimize the
Pardon, what?
windows first and maximize it again?
Me?
Really. No, not you, really. Okay, are you see the PPT right now, Ins?
Yes, it's
Okay.
very visible right now. Thank you. Okay,
You're welcome.
now going back to the common stereotypes about the Philippines, we have here top stereotype is all Filipinos practice Filipino time. And for everybody's information, Filipino time means tardiness. If we plan to meet at 8 a.m., I arrived at 10 a.m. So that is what you call Filipino time. So if the meeting is supposed to be on 10 a.m., I arrived at 1 p.m. or worse at 5 p.m. So that's what you call Filipino time. It's very common in the country. However, one of the common stereotype is all Filipinos practice Filipino time. That is not true because not all Filipinos practice Filipino time. Some Filipinos are actually time conscious that they arrive right on time, sometimes earlier than the expected time arrival. And some Filipinos also do that, like they arrive very late, but not all Filipinos practice Filipino time. The next common stereotype here we have, if you have visited one island in the country, that means you have visited all islands. That is not true because, as mentioned earlier, the Philippines has 7,107 islands. That is a lot of islands. So if you have visited Boracay Island, if you're familiar, that's a famous island in the world. Well, I'm claiming it because many foreigners are visiting it every year. And sometimes it's very crowded. Actually, most of the time it's very crowded, except now that it's pandemic, it's COVID-19, and there are only selected celebrities and foreigners who visit who can visit Boracay Island. So, for example, if you visited Boracay Island, that doesn't mean that you have visited the entire country because the Philippines may be an island, but it has so many sub-islands. That
Okay. Uh, it just me or
It lost. It's lost.
the the screen is freeze right now, or maybe it's because the connection is bad. Ah, is it freezing? It's look like ins have a bad connection. Okay, we can just wait a minute for ins to come back. Sebelas dua belas lah jaringan Indonesia dengan Filipina kayaknya.
Get lost Ki Haikal.
Iya. So masih bisa digabung.
Yeah, she said wait for a second.
Okay. So the common stereotype about the Philippines, huh? It's actually uh, mirip-mirip Indonesia lah, but bedanya itu yang well English spoken.
I think we have Ins right.
Okay, I'm back, everyone. Yes.
Welcome Ins.
Am I audible? I'm
Okay.
really sorry. I apologize for the connection.
It's okay. It's okay.
Okay. Okay.
You
Now,
can continue.
um, Okay. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
Okay. So I hooked up my phone in the internet. So the second to the last common stereotype that we have here is Filipinos are not well English spoken. So actually, um, in Western people, they tagged some Asians that we are not well English spoken. However, we understand conversational English just like other Asians. We know we understand basic English words, but for other Western people, they think that Filipinos cannot comprehend English language, and it's very sad because these are one of the painful stereotype about the country and for Asian people in general. But we know that uh, we know some conversational English language, and we can understand them because our commercials, our television and advertisements are all spoken in English. So even if we didn't, if even if some Filipinos did not have education for Western, they can still understand basic "How are you?" or some other language that some other English language that we spoke typically, or some conversational language, but not very difficult English language, because that's already a different level of knowledge that we um, that some of us need to practice in order to be very perfect. However, there's really no perfect for us who speak English as the second language. That's already an opportunity to be able to have language as our language, because uh, English is a universal language, and so being able to learn it, being able to understand and comprehend basic words from it is already satisfying and a privilege. So I don't see any problem if Filipinos are not actually well spoken in English, because we have our own language, and it's very important to be patriot to our own language, and I see that as not a problem. The stereotype, the third stereotype. Next, the fourth stereotype we have here: Filipinos make soccer. So I get this a lot during my time in the U.S. My host dad would ask,
Oh no. Is it Yeah.
Okay, so maybe Ins have a bad connection again. Sila, can you contact Ins?
I already contact her, and I cannot send my message to her. I think she really has a bad connection right now.
Oh, okay, okay.
Okay, maybe for others they can prepare their question. Oh, it's your muted.
"Hello,
Oh, hello, Ins.
I'm sorry,
It's okay.
I'm really really
Uh,
sorry."
Actually, we have
Okay,
our time has been times up. Can we move to the question session
questions.
Q&A?
Okay, so are we now moving on to the question and answer
But
portion?
you can continue your presentation because actually it is the last PPT, right? I'm not
Yes,
wrong.
yes, it's the
Okay.
last PPT. Okay, so should I continue?
Yeah, you can continue, and then we move to the Q&A session.
At the last slide. Okay, so the last one here, about the common stereotypes about the country, the Philippines. Filipinos make soccer. So we don't actually make soccer because uh, soccer are not our national sport. So it may be true that Filipinos weave baskets and mats, but we do not make soccer. So the stereotype about Filipinos making soccer is not true, and it is not legitimate. I think we are now down to the last slide, which is other things to know about the Philippines. So I propose this as a question and answer for you guys. If you have any other ideas or stereotypes or clarifications that you wanted to raise about the country or something that you know about the country. So
Okay.
that's everything I can share. Yes.
Wow, that was such an insightful presentation. Thank you, Ins.
Thank you so
I didn't know
much.
that. I didn't know that Philippines have such fun fact and many. I have many new knowledge for today. After listening to Ins presentation, you guys must have question to Ins. For those of you who are having question anything about her or her culture, feel free to ask. And if you want to open your mic, please let me know in the chat box, or you can just drop your question in the chat box. Jadi setelah kita mendengarkan Ins presentasi, pasti di antara kalian ada yang punya pertanyaan terkait dengan Ins ataupun budaya yang dijelaskannya. Jadi jangan malu-malu bertanya. Jadi kalau ada pertanyaan bisa dengan nyalakan mikrofon dan tanya langsung ke Ins. Sisa drop namanya kalian di kolom chat dan saya akan panggil. Terus kalian juga bisa tanya langsung melalui chat box. Bisa in English or in bahasa. Saya nanti translate. And by the way guys, jangan lupa isi surveinya. Nanti hasil surveinya akan diberikan ke Ins juga. So, who wants to ask a question first?
Can I?
Okay, Rido, you can.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, Ins, thank you so much. Salamat po for your explanation about the Philippines. First of all, are you Philippines or Indonesian? Are you
What
Filipino
was the
or
question?
Indonesian? First of
I'm
all,
Filipino.
oh, because you looks like Indonesian. Because some of the Filipino that
Yes,
I
thank you so
because
much.
because some of the Filipino that I
That's
know
a compliment.
because they are maybe mixed by another country because the colonialism that's happened in the Philippines, right? Maybe it looks
Yes.
like it's different. Okay, my question is in the Philippines there is a unique food called balut, and I
Oh,
see
balut. Oh,
yes balut, and
yeah.
I see it is like
Yeah,
a
I know
chicken
about it.
embryo. My question is whether it is processed first before being eaten, being eaten,
Ah,
or eaten
okay.
directly, and does it taste good? And maybe that's my question. Thank you.
Oh, have you tried balut? Thank you so much for your question.
No. I
Balut
never
is
tried.
oh, you never tried it? Okay. I actually tried it once, and I tried it out of my family's idea because we were forbidden to eat it because balut is it is a premature duck egg, and it is not a matured egg yet. So it's like
Oh.
eating a fetus chicken. So in an egg, and then you're going to add vinegar, a very hot, spicy vinegar, and then you're going to eat the egg, and it's actually boiled. But the fact that it's premature is what makes it very delicious for Filipinos. So it's an exciting experience if you're going to try it for the first time. And they said it actually tastes good, but for me it doesn't taste good. And it was my first time trying it, and yeah, there it looks like a bird inside, like in the egg. So that's what balut is, and it is not processed because it's only boiled in a hot water, just like how boiled eggs are being cooked.
Okay, thank you so much. Maybe I have another question. It's about the unique foods
Okay,
in
yeah.
Philippines. I have heard about papa. You know it?
Huh?
Pak pak.
What was it? Pak? You mean the
Yes.
flag?
Yeah, I
Ah,
don't
okay.
know. Maybe some. I know it before the internet, and I see it. Pak pak is from the Philippines. Could you explain about pak pak? Because I think it's really interesting to know.
You mean Pak, our flag?
Maybe.
I think
Pak
she.
and
I
is
think.
a
Okay. Okay. You can continue.
okay. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
pak pak
I mean,
like
if you have
pak. No, okay, like pak pak is one of the foods from like the restaurant,
oh,
maybe
good.
the restaurant, but some of the peoples take it and process it away, maybe like a trash, but they cook it again.
Okay. I'm not very familiar about Pak. You mean
Oh,
the process of eating leftovers and then reheating it up and then eating it again?
yes,
Oh.
yes, yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's a very common culture here in the country, especially when you're doing celebration and then you you made a lot of food and you were not able to eat it all, so you just set it aside in the fridge and then the refrigerator, and then you heat it up. So the next day you're going to eat it. So yes,
Oh.
that's a common culture here in the country.
So Papa
Yes.
is not the name of the food, but it's culture.
Um, yeah, it's a culture
Oh.
as Muhammad Ridu described it. It's about reheating food. It's not a food. It's what you call the process of eating a food after a day of reheating it.
Oh yeah, it's called like Tagalog languages. Pak pak.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much for your information, Ins.
Okay, thank you,
You're
Rio, for your
welcome.
question. So, Ins, I have question from other participant, and actually, many participants think you are an Indonesian that study in Filipino
Ah, really?
because yeah,
I am not.
yeah. So,
Do
for
I
your
really
information,
look
guys,
like an Indonesian?
Ins is a Filipino, not Indonesian.
Yes. I actually get that a lot during my time in the US, way back when I was still with Sila as exchange students. I would always get associated with Indonesians exchange student, and I think that's a compliment. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ins. I think it's normal because we have this, we have some rest
Mm-mm.
like Malay and Southeast Asian race. So there is another question for you, Ins, from Pitra Nurul. So can you tell us about Muslim in Philippines?
Muslims in the Philippines, we are most populated as Sunnis, if you're familiar. That's a group of Muslim people. So there are also Salafi and Shia. So there are different groups of Muslim people here in the country too, and we're also typical Muslim believers. Like we celebrate Ramadan, we fast, we go for Hajj, and then we also celebrate Eid, and then with our family. We're just like other typical Muslim people in the world. And then about the Muslim here in our city, um, about our clothing, we wear the same type of conservative clothing like loose pants, and some other people wear just like Arabian, like the abaya or the black, the entire black clothes. And we also go to universities with non-Muslims, and we associate with them, and we communicate with them very friendly. And yeah, so those are the Muslim people here in the Philippines.
Okay, thank you, Ins, for your explanation. So
You're welcome.
uh, we have another question from Kak Aksa Gautama Sofiandi. The question is, how do you feel as being a part of the certain people and any experience of rivalry from Imperial Manila people?
Okay.
I don't really understand the question, but yeah, you can go ahead.
Okay, what was the question again? I wasn't able to catch up. Okay, I'm
The
sorry.
question is about how do you feel as being a part of the certain people and any experience of
Okay.
rivalry from an Imperial Manila people?
Okay. So how do I feel about being being a southern or coming from southern place in the country? Is that what the question was about?
Yeah, that's right.
Like yeah, okay, I got it. So here in Mindanao, yes, we're most stereotyped by Filipinos from Manila because of Filipinos who live in Manila. They think that Filipinos coming from Visayas and Mindanao or the southern part are like not exposed to modern life because they think that Luzon people or people from the north in the Philippines, they think that they're the only dominant, and because being dominant they mean that they're more like a Filipino, like they're more modernized than us, that sometimes we are stereotyped if we have a city life here because some other Filipinos coming from the north or Luzon or in Manila, they are most unlikely to be exposed here in Mindanao. So I think that's it. We get stereotyped too sometimes, but um, but it's a common thing to experience as a coming from a minor tribe or from southern parts of the Philippines.
Okay, Ian, thank you for the explanation. Uh, so is there any question? I will choose one question, and if you want to ask, can chat us in the chat box.
Can I ask more question, please?
Yes, Kak Aksa,
Yes, sure.
go ahead.
Okay, Insira, sorry for asking that question because I've been to Philippines back
No,
in
it's fine.
2017.
I'd love it if you guys ask questions about the country.
That's why when I come to the Manila and they thinking that I'm
Oh,
coming
you've
from the
been there.
south. Yes, I've been in Metro Manila for a conference in UST, Santo Tomas
Oh,
University. Yeah, back
Santo
in
Tomas
2017.
University. Okay.
Okay, can you explain about more about a manok culture? You know, manok po, it's very similar in
Okay. You
Indonesia.
mean mano po like this?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So this is a sign of respect. When you do this to elders, that means that you respect them. Like for typical Filipinos, when they visit their lolas and lolos or grandparents or grandmother and grandfather, they do this kind of gesture to sign respect or to greet their grandparents with respect. So this one or the mano po, and then you do this one. You grab the right hand and then put it on your forehead and then say mano po or mano po mama or mano po papa. That means that it's a greeting. It's a common thing for other Filipinos or for traditional Filipinos. But for us as Muslim believers, we do not do mano po. Although we're Filipinos, but we do not practice mano po because for us, salamu alaikum or shaking hands or hugging is our typical greeting. So yes, mano po is a type of respect of to elders.
Okay, salamat po.
Okay, there is a chat in the. Thank you. Yes, salamat din or walang anuman. It means you're welcome. I think there is a chat here in the in the meet.
Oh yeah.
It says Assalamu alaikum. Insira, I'm Rauf. I would like to hear your native language, or maybe you can teach us Filipino language. Thanks. Okay.
to give back to your greeting. Alaikumussalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And you wanted to hear about our native language. You mean our, so I speak two different language, Filipino language, that's Maranao and Filipino. So do you want me to speak Maranao? What sentence would you like me to say in our language?
Okay, actually, I know that some of the languages in Philippines actually quite similar with Indonesian, like mata.
Yes.
Mata is eyes, right?
Yes,
I'm not-
mata means eyes. It's a
Okay.
Filipino term.
Mata, telinga, ears,
Yes,
and
tainga or talinga.
muka, face.
Yep, muka.
It's actually
I
some word
think we're
for us.
quite similar with the language. Yes.
Yeah. So, Ralph, I would like to hear your native language, or maybe you can teach us Philippine language.
Okay,
Uh,
so I'd like to ask what sentence you'd like me to translate in our native language.
okay, Ralph, go ahead. Write your sentence, or what you want to write in the chat box. Ralph, are you there, Ralph? Moderator, please make a sentence.
Any
Okay,
sentence
it's
would do for me.
how you say I love you in Tagalog.
Oh, in Tagalog, you say it, mahal kita. It means I love you. Yes,
So you,
Muhammad Ridu, you're right. It said mahal kita. Yes.
mahal kita. That's good.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
how you say I love you in Filipino.
Ralph, so Ralph, are you want to ask again, or maybe different languages, different word? Ralph.
What other sentence would you like me guys to translate?
Terima kasih.
kasih? What
Thank
does
you.
that mean? I think that's familiar. Oh, okay. You're welcome. Walang anuman.
Walang anuman. You have said that before in the chat box. Walang anuman.
Yes. That means you're welcome.
Okay, that was good. Okay, is there any question again? If not, I think we will move to the next agenda. That is the quiz time. So everyone, are you ready for the quiz time?
Ready.
Okay, so Brilly, can you share screen your?
Oh, you want me to read it? Okay.
Actually, Insirah, it's not you. I mean Brilly. So we have another people named Brilly here.
Okay. Okay, I'm sorry.
Brilly is our operator for tonight.
Oh.
Okay, everyone. So you can join the quiz from the link that Sila gave in the chat box. Brilly, can you share screen your share screen the quiz? I mean.
Oh, wait a second. Me?
No.
The other
I'm
moderator.
sorry.
I'm sorry.
It quit. The pronunciation is maybe look like it's the same, huh? Okay. So here you go.
share the link.
Guys, you can join the quiz. Just copy the link in the chat box and put in using your browser.
Angel, Angel.
Okay, everyone, are you ready? Don't forget to join
Good luck,
the quiz.
guys.
So we will wait maybe 3 minutes again. Hmm. Ayo guys, ikut quiznya. Ayo, semangat semangat. Nanti dapat hadiah loh kalau ikut quiz. So in the end, you will get a gift from Ins if you get the first winner. So semangat guys. Okay. Sila, are you there, Sila?
Yes, I am here.
Are we can start the quiz right now?
It's up to Angel. How is it, Angel? Can we start right now?
Oh, okay.
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 So we're going to start in 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
Good luck, everyone.
Maharika. use a connection proof.
Okay, everyone, we're going to end the quiz in 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's see who's the winner.
Check. I'm so sorry. I'm lost connection. Are you? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
I'm so sorry. Okay. So can you share screen again, Angel?
Wait a minute, I guess I'm gonna refresh my page. I got some bad connections. I'm really sorry.
It's okay. It's fine. Actually, tonight we have bad connection. Not just in Philippines, in Indonesia too. Okay, Angel, are you there? Hello, Angel.
Here's the results. You can see it on the screen.
Good evening. Yeah. So klaim hadiah. Congratulations, FER. Is that right, FER? Okay. So for FER, you will get the postcard from Philippines, from INS. So you can contact us in our Instagram, WELCOME09 SMFT-UH, and don't forget to send the proof of screenshot. Okay. Thank you, everyone. I'm so sorry. I'm the last of the 40. It's because I'm
That's
disconnection
fine.
before. Okay.
Congrats to the winner.
Congrats, the winner. So now we are going to give a certificate to INS as a thank you symbolic from us for being an amazing speaker this evening. So please someone show us the certificate. Okay. So thank you, INS, for sharing with us for tonight. This is the certificate. So, saya persilakan untuk Kapres yang kasih langsung.
Okay. Here is the certificate from us. Thank you so much for your time and giving us insight about your culture. We cannot wait to meet you in person once pandemic is over. We hope that we can go to the Philippines.
Thank you so much.
And also, we hope that you can come to Indonesia. And of course, we will be your tour guide. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Mahal
much.
kita, I think. It means I love you, right?
Thank you everybody. I'm actually looking forward to visit Indonesia soon, and I'm very excited. It's still a plan, but hopefully it would become a reality. And thank you so much for inviting me. This is really an honor and opportunity, and I was very happy that I was able um, to meet you all. And despite my connection, I get lost a lot of times during my lecture. I apologize for that, and I'm still happy that you guys were able to learn important stuff about our country. Hoping to see you soon, and I'm manifesting that. I really look forward to visit Indonesia very soon.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Ins. Amin.
Thank
Okay,
you. Thank you,
the next
everyone.
agenda is photo session. So everyone, please turn on your camera, and the photographer, please give us a sign for taking a picture. Okay, everyone, turn on your camera. And don't forget to make sure you guys are smiling.
Okay, there are three poses. The first pose is smile pose, and I will count until 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, the second pose, welcome sign. Welcome sign.
What's the second pose?
Maybe others can teach our speaker how to welcome sign.
Okay, so we will do welcome signs. It's like this. Can you see?
Okay, yeah. 1, 2, 3. Okay, the next, free pose. The last one. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ins. Thank you.
Thank you, Ins.
Thank you, Ins.
Yeah.
Selamat po.
Thank you,
Okay.
Ins.
Thank you. This is so
Oh,
sad.
it's
We're
nice
reaching
to
the end
meet.
of the session. So we would like to say a quick thank you to
We guys
Ins.
can hook up and social networking sites.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Ins, do you
Ins.
know Lovely? A singer from
What?
Maranao. A singer from
Oh, yes.
Maranao, Lovely.
Mm-mm.
I like her song.
I am.
Lovely.
Yes, I'm a Maranao. I'm Filipino Maranao.
Yeah. Do you know Lovely, a Muslim girl, a singer from Maranao, if I'm not mistaken?
What's her
Lovely.
name?
Lovely.
Lovely? I'm not very familiar with her.
Oh, you're not familiar. I know, like, her song is like, it's from Nisa Sabian Indonesia song, but it speak in Maranao like, maka terima ka maka sama beyak. Oh, I forget. Na 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 na.
Ooh. That's a great lyric.
She does speak in Maranao. Actually, I speak a little bit of Filipino, but still, because I don't use it anymore, I forget.
Oh, really? How did you learn to speak Maranao language?
Because it's similar like Indonesian.
Yes.
But
It's really quite similar with Bahasa language.
Okay. It's nice to meet you. Kinagagala ko makilala ka in Tagalog.
Oh, yes, that means it's nice to meet you. Pinagagalak din kitang nakilala. That's also another thing to say when you respond to. It's also nice to meet you.
Yeah, it's really a pleasure to meet you. Saan ka nakatira sa Mindanao?
I live in Marawi City. Nakatira ako sa Marawi City. Yes, sa Mindanao.
Safe ka ba dito?
What? What was it?
Safe ka ba dito? Safe. Safe.
Safe. You mean am I safe here in the city?
Oo.
Yes, definitely. Ako ay ligtas sa aming lungsod, or that means in English, I am safe in our city.
Okay, nice to hear that. Because I heard that like in the previous year, Marawi is there's like insurgents.
Oh yes.
So I hope that's it.
That was Marawi siege. That was way back 3 years ago. Our city is still recovering from the damages. But now we're all safe. Gladly.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much. Good night, good evening. Ayong gabi in Cebuano. I don't know in Maranao. I don't speak Maranao. Magandang gabi.
Yeah, magandang gabi din sa inyong lahat. Means good evening to everyone. And good night. Yeah, good night in Tagalog is mabuting gabi. Magandang gabi din. It's the same.
Okay, Ins, thank you so much for coming today, being a speaker. It was so
Thank you.
insightful. Okay, so we are having Haikal back. Okay, Haikal. Do you want to say something, Haikal? Oh, Haikal, you are muted.
I'm sorry. Okay, this is so sad. We're reaching the end of this session. I would like to say thank you to Ins for sparing her time, studying about her country to us. It was such an open-air presentation. Maybe we have Ins have bad connection, and I'm sorry. I have bad connection too, and I'm looking forward to see you there in the future. Also, thank you to all the participants who participate to this event. We hope to see your name in the survey and hope to see you at the next WeCulture. Thank you everyone and have a good day for today.
Thank you
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi
everybody.
wabarakatuh.
Thank you so much, Haikal.
Oh, Haikal, do you want to say something to Ins? Ins.
Thank you, Ins.
Oh, okay.
Okay, bye-bye, Ins.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Ian.
Thank you.
Okay, and
Bye.
bye. Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Good night.
Ay, apa ya, Haikal?
Haikal.
Iya, apa di?
Susah kan susah.
Satu kali dia orang jadi moderator, nah.
Iya,
Ai.
Hai, perlu kakaknya belajar lagi dari Kak Irwin ini, Kak. Irwin.
Enggak ada, left me. Betul. Ini gimana hasilnya? Coba lihat Ki hasil apa surveinya.
Oke, tunggu Kak.